Hey, what's up, everybody? I am your host, Grant Stiles. You're listening to Rango Unchained, the podcast. And if you are new to the show and don't know what this show is, basically, my name's Grant, and I'm a comedian. And I started a podcast about the 2011 animated comedy Rango without actually seeing the movie Rango. So now I just am destined to talk to comedians, friends, musicians, artists, haphazardly and with no real point, either about the movie Rango or just other topics that we decide to talk about. And I think that is the best description of this useless podcast. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first guest of Season 2 of Rango Unchained. You can check out the Archive Season 1 full playlist on YouTube and SoundCloud. Just type in Rango Unchained into either of those. Our first guest is my friend, Victoria Mansberger. She is a comedian from Kalamazoo, Michigan. She's incredibly funny, and you should book her on your comedy show. She's a solid joke writer, and if you are not a comedy show booker, and if you are just a regular listener, fan of the show, which you shouldn't be, no one should be listening to this podcast, follow her on Twitter, twitter.com/averagegrades. She's at averagegrades on Twitter. She's hilarious. And without further ado, here is our conversation about absolutely nothing. Me sitting down with my friend Victoria. Let's go. You don't have to say check if you don't want to.
I didn't know if there was something specific about check, or if it was really just a holdover from it being the mic check.
No. You can do like a check please. A check please.
Check
Jerry Lewis.
Please. Mic check please.
Jerry Lewis. It's probably the comedian that gets referenced the least on podcasts. Jerry Lewis. If you
Jerry
think about
Lewis? Let me shut this up. Jerry Lewis does not have a podcast, Grant Stiles. What are you talking about?
But if he did.
If Jerry Lewis had but Jerry Lewis is slapstick comedy. Like you're gonna do like.
He just bonked the mic on his. He just do his collar to one side and go goo.
Yeah.
For the we're rolling. For the listeners, Jerry Lewis pulls his collar to one side and then
acts like he's being.
The funniest is if you
dragged.
if you go the opposite way from where your collar's going. That's my favorite comedy bit. It's just
because you're actually actively fighting.
Yeah.
At that, you're like, no, I'm.
Have you heard of the Jerry Lee Lewis movie? Not Jerry Lee Lewis. Oh. Jerry Lewis.
Great Balls of Fire.
Mm-hmm. The Jerry Lewis movie that is hidden. It's like.
No, I have not heard about a hidden Jerry Lewis movie.
It's a movie where Jerry Lewis plays a clown in Auschwitz, and he like dies in the Holocaust.
So this
or something.
Is like really similar to Song of the South. Like it'll never be released on video.
Yeah, and it was offensive and it was bad. Like it wasn't good. Like by their standard, like
by Jerry Lewis standards.
By Jerry Lewis, he's like, I can't have anyone see this.
That's bad because look, it is. But it reminds me of like an artist who's actually really good who recently died. I guess Prince, right? Have you heard that there's a vault?
Vault of
unreleased Prince music, some like untold thousands and thousands of songs. I heard recently that like you can listen to all of Prince's catalog now on streaming services, which is new. But I wonder about how they're gonna go about releasing this mythical vault of music. Will Prince still come out with an album every year? Will he be like winning album of the year in 20 years?
One can hope.
Yeah.
You know? But I really want Jerry Lewis to die so I can see the
I'm
the
personally
Holocaust
right now
movie.
frankly surprised that he's not already dead.
I thought he died in like 1997. But
I am just learning right now that he is still alive.
But there was an article and like some guy from like Variety like went to his house and like interviewed him. He was just total dick, like a just stone face, just ice this guy out every question.
Weird.
Yeah, he's just old and weird. I know he has like some disease, I forget. He has like Parkinson's or something. I don't, but and he does the benefits for that, but other than that, he's an asshole. And his entire comedy like identity is just him like tripping over boxes, like trying to juggle like fruits.
Like the number one thing that I know about Jerry Lewis is that the French love him, right? Like that's
no way.
Yeah, the French adore him. He's one of their favorite comedians.
The French have made so many mistakes and like culture-wise.
Yeah.
And adding Jerry Lewis to that is really just.
Yeah, no, they love him, and I think I have no idea why, honestly. Maybe commedia dell'arte, like the history of comedy and the whole slapstick nature of clown suits and mimes and whatnot, right? So
mimes. What have you ever seen a funny mime? Like, well, that is kind of like Jerry Lewis because he is doing, mimes. He's miming getting dragged.
You made me so excited. Like I've lived in Louisiana, and I lived in Baton Rouge, which is not New Orleans, but I used to go to New Orleans a lot. And in Jackson Square, there's the silver guy, right? He's not really a mime, but he does do like the fake statuary stuff, right? Boring stuff. And then there's also real mimes in Jackson Square. Boring. But when I was a kid on my school bus, there was a boy. There was a boy who lived at the junkyard. He lived at the junkyard, and he was horribly like poor. And this is before anti-bullying campaigns. Like this kid was bullied quite heavily, right? So, but he would do mime on the school bus. The entire school bus, he would do mime, and he was amazing. And I found it hilarious. Of course, I was in elementary school, and
that's what they should do to like try to prevent school shootings. Is just have kids do
potential
miming.
School shooters should just mime shooting the other students.
Yeah. Just a fake gun.
We're just gonna work through it, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, actually, the first semester I taught at Western, where I currently teach, I did finger guns in the classroom at one point, and immediately felt like it wasn't right, and it didn't have anything to do with school shootings at all. But it still felt like wait, guns are not welcome here, not even finger guns. So I don't know if miming would really even be appropriate.
Yeah, there's a kid in my school, like a grade above me, who got kicked out for just writing an essay. He had to do an essay of like, do something creative, and he just talked about how he's going to bring a bomb into the school and blow it up and kill everybody.
Yeah, that actually, I had a friend, 8th grade, best friend.
Same person.
And then by the time we were in 12th grade, we'd kind of gone our separate ways, right? Well, in 12th grade, he writes a short story about killing a specific student at our school, and he gets expelled for right before we graduate. It's one of the dumbest moves I think I've ever witnessed.
I mean, it's so hilarious, though. Just like, especially in high school, just wanting, killing everybody is hilarious. Farting. Yeah. Murder. It's all in that same realm. Like shit and poop and death. It's kind of all there. It's all right there. And it's just.
Are you saying that we shouldn't be using those as premises anymore now that we're
shitting and dying?
Yeah, shitting, dying.
No. And
what was and shootings and
mass shootings? Yeah,
bombings.
but it's funny. Like I watched this movie called The Dirties, and it's like a mockumentary comedy about a school shooting.
Really?
And it's just some weird Canadian movie, and I watched it yesterday.
A Canadian school shooting movie? Where school shootings, the land of school shootings, are never happening.
It's just like it's the premise is these two kids. They get bullied a lot, so they're making a movie that has all these movie references about how they're gonna like kill the gang of bullies in their school, and then the one kid actually decides like, hey, let's do it.
Let's actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he shoots him. That's not a spoiler. It's pretty.
It's pretty early in the movie. There's a lot more after that. it'd be like Vincent D'Onofrio blows his head off in Full Metal Jacket. Not a spoiler, you guys. Not a spoiler. That happens fairly early in the movie. What will spoil the movie for you is the fact that the rest of it sucks after that, though.
Yeah, hot take. Stanley Kubrick is like fine.
Like, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's great. It's just okay. And
His
that's
best
like a hot
work
take.
Is the moon landing. Hot take.
Hot take. Hot take. Hot take. Yeah, like Clockwork Orange. I watched it and I was like, good movie.
Yeah,
That's
good
fine.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't like
You were
going
not-
crazy about it. I
That did
wasn't
not
like,
become your favorite movie. You were not floored.
No.
You didn't buy the full-size movie
All he does-
poster and frame it on your wall.
No, all he does, and there's like something on Vimeo or whatever of all these shots together. All he does is like do this like very like vertical,
close-up.
yeah, and then like
Zoom out.
yeah, it zooms out, and every single movie
Yeah.
there's like 6 of those. And I love The Shining, and I love a few of those other movies too. But
I love anything where there's just like a whole bunch of blood being unleashed. So feminine to me, so highly feminine, you know?
mm.
Like-
Mm. Shoot, what was I?
I
gonna say?
agree with you, though. Stanley Kubrick is slightly overrated, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, and that's not even to say he sucks or like.
You know, Room 237 documentary.
That's a good
That's a
mov-
really
yeah,
good
that's a
movie,
good
right?
documentary.
Yeah. So, but also Stanley Kubrick did not make that.
True.
It's just about him.
But I do like people whose work just spawns conspiracy theories and just people going crazy, just like going down these rabbit holes with all this stuff. Because that movie, there's like 5 different scenarios that they present of what it could be about, and none of them are probably right. you
Yeah,
know? You
of
just
course
made
not.
it,
They're
'cause it's
several of them are really extreme.
yeah.
One of them is the moon landing.
Yeah. I saw this site today, and it's really funny. I can't tell if it's a parody or not, but it's claiming that the Beatles never existed,
All of them?
or that they either never existed is one theory, and then the other theory is that there's multiples of them.
Yeah, see, that's one that I'm on board with, mostly because
Yeah.
I believe in the Paul McCartney is dead conspiracy. Like,
Yeah.
I am a weirdo who believes that Paul McCartney has been replaced.
Yeah. The Beatles never existed.com.
Oh, wow.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, it rules. It's
That's extreme.
it's very like late 90s HTML like
Did
format.
it look like Angel Fire?
Yeah, it does. It does look like it's being hosted on Angel Fire. Yeah, copyright 2006. Website by Donna.
Donna.
A woman named Donna.
Even more mysterious. Donna Pinciotti. I don't know.
The four main reasons there's a forum obviously on here too, so you can debate. But the first one is height discrepancy. We found that the Beatles fluctuate within various height ratios over the years.
Don't we all?
I mean, growth is, you could grow.
You can't grow. Yeah, but if you're getting shorter
You can
and
get
then
shorter
taller
too.
again.
Yeah, you can get shorter. You can, just scrunch your shoulders up and then you're shorter. 2, different eyebrows. It's interesting to note that there were different shapes, sizes, and styles of eyebrows.
You can pluck your eyebrows, right? Like,
True. Okay, 3, ears. Ears also fluctuate wildly with each Beatle. Shape, size, placement on the head, types of earlobes, attached, unattached.
That's genetics. Now I'm convinced.
Yeah,
Because
and
that
then-
is actually a
And then
gene.
the 4th one is teeth. It's just they either have different teeth or fake teeth or whatever.
See, the only thing I've ever really read in detail is the Paul McCartney having died before
Mhm.
Abbey Road, and then the Beatles trying to say it in their music by saying, like, Paul is dead, right? And then having
Mhm.
Paul be barefoot on the cover of Abbey Road, right? And then the idea that
That's
the
the
studio
best
would
one.
replace him, right? Would replace him in order to keep the mythical idea of the Beatles going.
But then they
Even
just
if it's
killed
not
John
them.
Lennon and didn't try to replace him at all.
Well, at that point, the Beatles had been not making any music for the
Okay,
studio for a long
yeah,
time.
that actually
right?
that checks out.
Yeah.
I just like that Paul is the one who's dead because he seems the most real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just a guy.
You're
like
talking
if-
about the replacement Paul, the
the
Paul McCartney
the
of
android.
Wings, of Wings,
Yes,
Mary.
the Wings Paul.
Yeah, Wings Paul. Band on the Run.
But like
right?
Wings Paul is just like a dad and just like the most normal.
I'd argue
person.
that Wings Paul is more talented than the original Paul, and that's why
Yeah.
all of their music post him dying
Mhm.
is actually more advanced and interesting. And actually, if you're a fan of Wings,
Turn this off.
yeah. I'm just kidding.
Wings is
I actually
cool.
really love Wings.
Yeah, I like Band on the Run a lot.
Yeah.
I like Solo Paul. But it's just a different experience. You just
Well, I'm a weirdo who loves solo John Lennon. I do not like John Lennon and Yoko Ono, but I like solo John Lennon. I get a lot of shit for that. Like, I have a John Lennon T-shirt, and I like John Lennon a lot.
yeah, John Lennon rules.
John Lennon button on my stupid coat.
And people
right now.
say like, oh, he's an asshole, like he left his family, but like that's cool.
He beat his wife. He hit the other Beatles.
You can still
He
be
was a
cool
human
and do
being.
bad stuff. Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's a product of their environment and their culture, and you can't be a perfect person.
Yeah,
It's not
his mom
possible.
died on the way to come visit him.
And in fact, the more complex you are, probably the less likely you are to be a perfect, well-behaved person who does
Yeah.
everything correctly all the time, right?
Yeah.
So,
The Beatles, I think it's conclusive. Like the Beatles never existed, and they're just little
Yeah.
robots. Little
well,
wax,
that is that.
little wax
See,
guys.
potentially is completely
Ringo, there's no way he's real.
He's in those movies. Have you seen any movies with Ringo Starr? He's in a few movies. I have not been able to watch one all the way through. They're all B movies. I don't know how a Beatle is only in B movies, but that's because I guess it's Ringo.
He's in the
He's a-
he's in the most famous band of all time.
Yeah,
and
and
can't
yet
even
he
get,
can't get
into
a-
like he couldn't even be in like one of the guys
A major
in, like, the
motion
background
picture
of,
of
like,
anything.
whatever dumb British movie they make, spy movie. He couldn't even get into James Bond.
That's how terrible Ringo is, honestly.
And
Oh
I
my
think
goodness.
I can't tell if he knows. Like if he was more self-aware, like it would be better. But there's that tape of him. I'll put it in the audio at the end of this podcast. But there's a video of him where he says, "Okay, mates, it's July 18th, 1998."
Yo, Ringo is amazing.
And I'm not a impressionist here. But he basically just says like, "I will not be signing autographs after today. Like I'm done. Like stop sending me stuff.
Oh, wow.
I'm too busy. I can't sign everything."
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy, just because that meant before that day, you could just send Ringo stuff and he would just
like
sign it and mail it back.
to
Yeah.
you. Like, did you even have to send a self-addressed stamped envelope for it to come back? Probably. He's like, I'm tired of buying postage. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
That's the
Like-
plot of like The Simpsons,
Yeah.
where Marge sends something to George. It's like a
Oh.
painting, and she
Wow.
gets it back like 30 years later after they go through the pile of mail.
George Harrison was my dad's favorite Beatle. My dad is, I don't know, he claims to be bisexual. When I was growing up, he was homosexual. And he always said George Harrison was the dreamiest Beatle. But I didn't really think any of them were very dreamy, I wouldn't argue.
George as favorite Beatle, like there's a really compelling case for it, and it's just a cool move. Like yeah, I love George.
Yeah, it is cool because, I mean, well, I don't know. I feel conflicted because George Harrison wrote some really good
Yeah.
songs, and he's subversive and kind of weird because, like, the
Mhm.
songs are some of the more subversive songs even.
Yeah.
But then he's also all of a sudden Hare Krishna, like, you can-
Sunshine.
Sunshine. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
Podcasts won't be able
Mhm.
to exactly display. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get some
He's
of the
really chill.
some of the
though.
George
He's
stuff.
chill.
There's a really great 80s George solo album where it's maybe the worst album art I've ever seen. It's just him with like a Hawaiian shirt wearing like aviator sunglasses, and it's just like it looks like a felt painting.
Sounds
of
like you're
George.
describing like a Magnum PI
Yeah,
DVD
no,
cover.
it's like George Harrison watched Magnum PI once and was just like, "That's it.
Watches
That's
Magnum PI once.
that's the new meme. If
I foresee a meme. In
if
fact,
anyone's on Twitter right now watches Magnum PI once, and then it's just like a picture of like Alvin and the Chipmunks with the like Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian shirt. Oh my god, that's too much.
I'm trying to think of other people.
There's
who
an
could be
episode
in
of
watch Magnum PI once.
there's an episode of Aqua Teen where Shake wears a Hawaiian shirt also. So
Magnum PI is a good show.
Magnum, yeah. He was dreamy. I could see
Yeah.
see that.
Selleck. He does like weird stuff after that. Like he did like just all westerns, like weird like TV.
Yeah.
Like they're on the whatever network whatever TNT does. They just always have westerns starring Tom Selleck on. Whenever I'm watching, I'm like, what is this channel? Do
It
they
knows
have
drama.
shows? They know drama. They know. that
They know that you want to see.
late era Selick is what people want.
It's where it's at. I don't even know. I've never seen a late era except for In and Out, which is very, very late era Selleck, where he makes an appearance in a movie where he actually plays a gay man. Tom Selleck is, I believe, a gay man in real life.
Is he gay?
Yeah,
He seems kind of gay.
I think he was. I think he is. I think he's still alive. Again, I'm not sure.
Is Tom Selleck dead/gay? That's the next search. Someone, if anyone's listening at home, search Tom Selleck gay/dead. Tom Selleck gay ? Damn.
Oh wow,
Yeah, he is gay.
he is gay. Yeah,
Oh, Tom Selleck says he's not gay.
Tom Selleck claims is that. I
Tom
don't know.
Selleck's still gay? It's up for debate right now,
Apparently it's-
according to Google. But we know he's gay.
Sexuality is on a spectrum, you guys.
Shouts out. Shouts out, Spectrum.
Shouts out to everyone on the spectrum.
Shoot. Just click something on there.
Oh my goodness.
I can't tell if I turn it off or not. No, it's still on. This is what happens when you don't have a producer. I gotta hire some intern or somebody.
Hire an intern. Put an ad out in the MSU student paper.
Excuse me.
Any film and media students.
But the thing is, I could.
That
I
would
could
be,
do that.
why not? That would give them a line on their CV.
Yeah.
Well, why
I
not?
produce
You
podcasts.
should do that. That would actually do them a favor.
I don't want to hang out with anybody. I don't
Oh.
have to.
Good God. Yeah, you were talking about how you wanted to just do podcasts through Skype. You're like, I don't want an intern unless I can Skype
Yeah.
with the intern.
They have a board at MSU. I just Skype in and then Skype the guests in. And then I don't have to see them. I can just close out their window and just
Yeah.
look at the guests. And
I registered my son today for a Rubik's Cube competition. He's going to be 11 next month, and he's obsessed with Rubik's Cube. He wants to go to the Nationals in Fort Wayne, but he has to do a smaller tournament and get a qualifying time first.
that's cool. That's cool that Nationals are in Fort Wayne.
They move around every
Yeah,
year.
that's-
They happen to be
that's-
in Fort Wayne this year. The
that's
year
so
my son
nice.
becomes obsessed with Rubik's Cube, Nationals are within 2 hours of where we live, which is kind of neat. It's actually, I think it might be the world cubing organization.
There's some good hotels out there, Fort Wayne. Shouts out. Shouts
Uh,
out, Fort Wayne.
I was looking at them today actually because I was like, "Oh, we're gonna
Mhm.
spend the night out there," and it was almost $200 to spend the night in Fort Wayne.
Jeez.
I was like, "Damn, what they got going in Fort Wayne?"
I went to a
Stay the
hotel in
night.
Fort Wayne once with my grandpa, and it was I didn't realize it, but it was a Styles family reunion, where they vote on what are they gonna do as a family.
That's crazy.
It was wild. It was free cupcakes and stuff, but there was 6 family reunions in that hotel that weekend. So I was like,
belonged
yeah,
to a different
I
family
was
for
like,
a
I'm
while.
here for the family reunion. And I was like, oh yeah, come on in.
Yeah,
And I was the only white person there. It was all black
Oh.
people, and I think they knew.
they knew. Yeah,
They knew I
that wasn't
wasn't.
one you could blend into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they were like, "You're a Styles, get out of here."
As soon as I saw the prices of those hotels, I was like, "What comics do I know in Fort Wayne?" I was like, maybe they'll put up me and my 11-year-old for the night.
I love open mic trips because they're just they're so sad. Even coming down here, it's
Yeah.
a
No,
little,
it is
it's a little sad.
It can be very sad. Last night I witnessed a tragic traveling open micer breakdown when their set did not go so well, and they had traveled so far
Yeah.
away from their loved ones to not please anyone, not even themselves. It can be really difficult.
Yeah.
But I have faith that you at least will please yourself, Grant Styles.
Yeah. Always. Always.
Yeah.
Self pleasure is underrated.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's not only underrated, it's considered a sin in a lot of circles. Yeah.
Shouts out.
Yeah.
Shouts out. self pleasure.
Hopefully no one's doing that to this podcast. So that would be super weird. Shouts out if you are. Though.
Hopefully it's like ASMR where they They're just pleasuring themselves. They don't even realize it.
Oh yeah, and they're just falling asleep. Like
Yeah.
oh, they realize it now as we're talking about it. They look like, what the fuck?
I gotta get out. I gotta get out of the house.
I gotta stop wearing sweatpants.
I gotta stop
make this
listening to
so
Rango
easy.
Unchained.
Yeah.
The Rango Unchained, the podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I am gonna expand the brand.
You are. I actually looked up Rango earlier just to be semi-prepared in case it came up.
Have you seen it?
I haven't. I should
never
watch
seen
it. I
it
watched
either.
the trailer. I did see that it said you can't walk out on your own story, which is an interesting idea to me.
Yeah, I was gonna prepare for this podcast, and because I was on the Facebook page for Rango, and there's like reviews of the DVD, and people are mad because like the special features aren't as good as they were
Wanted them
originally
to
planning to be. It's too expensive. It was like $16
Wow.
for Rango, and it wasn't even like Criterion.
Yeah. Which it should probably
It should be on Criterion.
Yeah.
Criterion, there is a good, I forget if it's a Twitter page or it's Instagram or something, but it's just like someone making Criterion covers for movies that are awful.
Oh.
So it's just like Snakes on a Plane, Criterion collection.
Oh wow, that's hilarious.
And it rules.
Yeah.
I'll link to that too.
That's a good idea.
In the podcast. I have to make mental notes of like what I say I'm going to link to. Because I like doing I did a
link to my Twitter.
Yeah.
At average
at
grade.
average grades on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, they're gonna do comedy here at some point, so we should probably turn it off. All right, does that sound like a good episode?
Yeah. You seem like a good episode.
Signing off. You can follow me at Lasers and Pizza. Follow Victoria
Lasers and pizza.
at Average Grades. I should probably change my Twitter.
I love your Twitter handle, but I think is laser spelled with a Z or is it spelled with an
It
S?
spells an S.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's just lasers and
Lasers
pizza.
and Pizza. Just
Literally.
No.
Yeah, but it's like it does seem like maybe you're like the fun zone, and that's like, like you know what I mean. So you have like laser tag and pizza, like it's what you offer there, right? Which
Yeah, I didn't realize like your Twitter could be like your actual name.
But apparently
got
you
on
can
it.
change that whenever you want.
Yeah, you can, but somebody else is Grant Stiles, and I only want to be Grant Stiles.
Who is you are?
I
You
know.
are Grant.
They're an egg. They're an egg, and they were on Twitter.
Oh
like,
my God!
a
You
year
need to
before
write
me.
that egg and email Grant Stiles.
I DM'd them. I was like, "What's good?"
Slipping
And
into their DMs
they-
is not working.
No, they don't, because they're not on Twitter. Because they
Because
created
they're
an
an
account in 2010 and then
Left.
never made a profile, and their tweets are protected.
Yeah. You're like, I'll give you $10 for my name back.
You can do that. You can go online and see how much your Twitter is worth.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
that.
like
yeah.
your Twitter net worth.
Mine's in the negatives, I think.
This is hurting you.
Yeah,
This is hurting
it's hurting you badly.
Yeah, I go off of Twitter sometimes whenever I'm looking for jobs because I do like social media marketing type stuff, and people look at my Twitter.
Look at
and they're
you
just
up,
like,
and they don't like it.
yeah,
Well,
I don't know if I've lost jobs, but I feel like I'm losing jobs.
I imagine you could, but I
Yeah.
feel like like I don't care. Like I don't want your money if you're that kind of person. Like
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it. So if I'm gonna lose jobs, I don't want those jobs. Like that's
True.
Yeah.
True.
I don't want to work for you if you're the kind of person who's going to judge me based
Mm.
off of some jokes I wrote on a Twitter account, right? I work for a university. I worry sometimes that they will look at my Twitter and be disappointed in what I'm doing. But at the same time, I say, look, we're in academia where everyone should be free thinking and accepting of all ideas. And there's no reason, unless I'm saying something
Yeah.
overtly racist, right? Or oppressive
Mhm.
against any minority or...
This is just a plea. Please follow both of us.
Oh my God,
on
we're both
Twitter.
desperate. We're so desperate.
All right, that's the episode. Goodbye.
This is a serious message to everybody watching my update right now. Peace and love, peace and love. I want to tell you, please, after the 20th of October, do not send fan mail to any address that you have. Nothing will be signed after the 20th of October. If that has a date on the envelope, it's going to be tossed. I'm warning you with peace and love, but I have too much to do. So no more fan mail. Thank you, and no objects to be signed. Nothing. Anyway, peace and love, peace and love.